Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've been thinking a lot about my channel and where I kind of want to go with this channel, and I think I'm going to stick with my strongest suit, which is I'm a pretty fast reader, and so I think I'm going to mostly focus on doing book reviews because I can get through a lot of books pretty quickly and I kind of know exactly what I think about them. Like the minute I finish, I'm done. I know where my mind is. I know what I want to say about it. So I've decided that this channel is going to be a lot of book reviews. I might add some more stuff. Okay, cross that. I'm gonna add some more stuff, especially as I'm like figuring the channel out and figuring out what I want to do with it. But in the meantime, my main goal is just to read as many books as I can and review those books. So if there's any book that you want me to read and review, please comment down below and let me know. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So the book that I'm going to be talking about today is The Beginning Place by Ursula Le Guin. Now this is the first book I've ever read by Ursula Le Guin, and I was a little intimidated because I knew her as an author. I don't really know what she's written before, but I knew her name. And so I was a little nervous about just what I was getting myself into. Was it going to be really difficult to read? Was it going to be like high fantasy, high romance? Like what was it? I had no idea. But I was really pleasantly surprised. I actually quite enjoyed this book. Now the book's not very big. It's 227 pages, so I pretty much inhaled this book. I think it took me like 2-3 hours to read, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So let's start getting into the details. All right, so this book follows the story of Hugh Rogers. I cannot remember that name, I think because I keep thinking about Lost, where his name is Hugo Reyes, so I just instantly make him Spanish. But the book follows the plotline of the protagonist, Hugo Reyes. Hugh Rogers, and he's a down-on-his-luck 20-year-old who works at a grocery store and decided not to go to college because his mom has some pretty severe abandonment issues after his father left pretty much without any real reason. And so he's mostly taking care of her and just reassuring her that he's going to stay. And then the other protagonist, whose name is Irina. Now, Irina comes from a pretty rough childhood. Her first father passed away, and her new stepfather is real creepy. And she doesn't really know how to protect her mom from all that real creepiness that her stepfather just keeps dishing out. So when she was 13, she ran away and she found a place called the Mountain Town, which is close, I think, to the Beginning Place. Essentially, it's a forest, and there's a place in it where it's always like twilight. And past that, there's a gate, and it's called Mountain Town, where all these people live and speak a completely different language. So she had to learn the language. And she's just been visiting there for years. It's her safe place. As far as the story, I did find it really charming, and I feel like I connected to it a lot more than I ever really thought that I would. But it just really opened up my heart, and I just really felt for these characters in a way that I didn't. I do feel as a story there were things that were more ambiguous, and I feel like that was hopefully on purpose. I felt like it was on purpose, and I enjoyed it if it was on purpose, because it doesn't really focus on the plot. It focuses on the characters going through the plot, which is how I feel like a story should go. So as far as like the non-spoilery, it's pretty much gonna end here, and I'm gonna start getting into the nitty-gritty. So if you don't want any spoilers, just go buy the book, read it, you're gonna enjoy it. If you do want spoilers, keep on watching. So Hugh as a character is a character that I really didn't expect to identify with as much as I did. He is 20 years old, he works at a grocery shop, he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, and he's just really focusing on his mom, who has some severe abandonment issues ever since his father left, just kind of like out of the blue. You can tell his mom just always expects people to leave, that nobody's gonna stay, and that she needs Hugh to even be home before she gets home, or she feels completely besotted. So he was definitely the lovable loser, and I read I read 2 reviews on Goodreads, and one of them said that he was like supposed to be a lovable loser, but they didn't really feel that way to the middle. And I loved his character from the beginning. I wanted to protect him. I felt really, really drawn to him. I just felt like he had a lot of things going for him, and I feel like he knew it. There was this point where he was talking about this girl who had overdosed at his school, and how he had never really contemplated suicide, and he talked about it because even though he doesn't have a lot going on in his life, that he knows he's still not worthless. And I just thought that that was so amazing and profound, because I feel when you're kind of at that state in your life where you don't really know what you're gonna do, that feeling of, well, at least I'm not, at least there's still things that I am worthy of. I just feel like that's so special to have, and just to read in a book. I really loved it. So the only thing I really didn't love about his character was how many times the author referenced how heavy he was. I feel like there was a point where you just kind of like, okay, got it. He's a bigger guy. Good. And then you never really understood like how heavy he was, even though they just kept making reference to the fact that he was heavier. He starts running in the book. So the whole way that he finds the beginning place is he comes home from a shift at the grocery store. His mom's not home. He sits at the chair looking at the TV, and he's eating peanuts, and he just has this moment of complete overwhelming anxiety. And so he just starts running, and he finds the beginning place, this place of complete twilight where nothing ever changes, time moves differently, and it just has the most beautiful water that he's ever seen, and the water just makes him thirsty. And so he keeps going back. So he takes up running, and he's going back, and he's planning his, slowly but surely, he found a place that was safe to him, and a place that he feels comfortable. And he just, you can tell like he can't lose that. He doesn't want to lose that. So that's kind of his journey before any of the rest of it. Now Irina, she has the whole issue with her stepfather, who's kind of a mess, and her roommates are a mess right now. They're kind of going through a breakup, and she's kind of in the middle of it. But she found the beginning place, or mountain town, when she was 13. And they immediately took her in, and they made her feel loved and cared for. So it's a place that she wants to protect, and a place that she really cares about, to the point where she's learned a completely different language. So that's kind of where she comes in. Now, the people in the beginning town cannot, mountain town, I don't know what it's called. That's the whole point about it being ambiguous. I never really knew what was the beginning town, what was the beginning place, and what was mountain town, and what was like, I think Temporese was the other name I think that they called the mountain town. I never really knew which was which, so bear with me. But she finds out that the people who live in this place cannot go on the bridge to the other places for some reason or another. So they're waiting for a man to come and defeat this thing. Of course they're waiting for a man. Can't. But that's what they're waiting for, and she can't go because she's not that person. So the leader of the town, who's called the Master, he is this person that Irina has kind of looked up to in her mind, and she wants to feel worthy through him. Like, you can just kind of tell underneath her character that she, well, one, she loves him. She says that she loves him, but that she really just wants to prove herself to him. And so it really kills her that she is unable to do that alone until Hugh comes into play. So she kind of quickly spots Hugh. Hugh comes in, and then it's all about them defeating this evil thing by going further than the bridge is. And all of that, I will say, is mostly ambiguous. Like, you don't really understand your villain, you don't really understand the why, you don't really understand the world a whole lot. But it really didn't bother me as much as I thought. I think mostly because it's only 227 pages. So it's not Tuesday? I don't think Tuesday liked the book. So it's pretty ambiguous as far as the why and the what. And I feel the book more focuses on what happens after. So they kind of defeat whatever the big bad is, and there's just this whole ambiguity of what happens now. The evil thing, the thing that she's been thinking about needing to be defeated for years, has been taken care of. And so her and Hugh develop this bond and this friendship, and I do feel like their romance is also a little underdeveloped, but I still supported it. I think mostly because I was like, protect Hugh. He needs to be protected. He's a little baby. So their romance just kind of like instantly ignites, and then they're together. And there's just this vulnerability with this book that I really, really appreciated. And there was a lack of details, but in a way that I thought was charming, and not in a way that I thought was like lazy or unthoughtful. I thought you didn't need them. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I just feel the characters were special, and they were special to me in a way that I didn't think that they would be. So I would definitely encourage people to read this book. It's only 227 pages. It's not that hard to get through. And yeah, if you have any sort of ties to a father who has been abusive, there's just a slight trigger warning for that. And I think the mother too, because the mother definitely triggered me a little bit with her huge abandonment issues. But it's a really beautiful read, and I would highly encourage you to read it. Please comment down below if you've read this book and let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if there's any books that you want me to review. I have a couple of videos planned. I've been reading a lot, so I have a couple of different books that I'm excited to review. So yeah, that's it. I loved it. I think you should read it. I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.